Hey, what's going on everyone? Supreme Com here. So I am going to be going over our two new revival units over here. We have the Zabanya Gundam and then the Horus Gundam here. So back-to-back weeks where we have double movie stuff over here. So is this a hint that we're going to get the last unit from the Awakening of the 12 Blazers, what is it, Raphael Gundam? But you know, just going to be talking about should you guys even summon on this banner to get the material C, or should you guys like wait a few more hours before we're going to get like news update on if you're gonna get like a new banner. So if you guys have if you guys have parts already but have not alternated them, this is probably a good way for you guys to just listen through to see if you guys should alternate any of these parts, because these two banner came out on a Gundam Battle Festival banner, came out back in November 11 of 2020. So it's been quite a few months, and then like back then the rate was obviously a lot more better with that 71% chance. So I was able to pull like virtually all of this part over here, like both in Horus and then Zabanya. But we'll quickly dive into the Zabanya first. You have 6 parts that go through, so I think this will try to go through them as fast as possible, because like I said, all these parts had kind of aged a lot throughout these many months. But so we're gonna let the little Excel sheet on the right hand side do all the talking over here. So I did rank them based on like the most recent unit being, we have the double Quanta, and then we have the Gundam, Wing Gundam Proto Zero. So obviously Proto Zero is probably going to be one of the better shot unit we have today. But let's take a look. If I have parts that are better than this, I'll obviously show on the left hand side like the parts that I personally own. If I don't own, if for example I own the part, I'll probably show the layout just like this. If I don't own like a certain parts, I'll probably just let you guys know, oh, this part is slightly better, like with better portrait, better like stats and all that. But do keep in mind that there is no absolute like, oh, quote unquote best of the best part, because like I said, this like when building overall kits in this game, you are mixing up with 9 other parts. So one part alone will not make like a build like, oh, really powerful. It's just more like how to like mix and match like good word tags, good portraits, and all that good stuff. So looking at the head of the Zabanya over here, you guys can see the shot attack is still holding up to this day. Probably one of the better, like back then this is probably one of the higher stats. Because like before Zabanya was released, we have the High New Gundam. High New Gundam, to this day I still reference it a lot because it aged very well with a pretty well-rounded portrait for like the shot build. But we're gonna look at the Zabanya portrait over here. When you have Ace exclusive, EX power boost by 30%. That is really excellent over here. But look at that second portrait. When you have a long shooter job pilots, you are gonna recover 200 armor at max. Like this is level 10. And then raising armor and this just like health recovery is probably one of the worst trait you can have. So this is automatically just not nullifies this, like even though it has really good stat over here, but this portrait kind of ruins it. Granted, you can kind of subslot that because you have Ace exclusive. Ace exclusive high firepower is probably gonna be too stable word tag for a shot build. You can actually come over here and subslot that to gonna reference this a lot for like shot build. You can currently subslot this to this guy over here, to the Wing Gundam 1/100 scale alternation over here. But the portrait, keep in mind, is you have crit, which is bad already, and then you have long shot attack raised by 30% locked behind a P attribute. So even if you subslot this one, I don't think you're gonna get the most out of it. So if you guys do have the head or planning to get the head piece, I suggest something like the Wing and the Proto Zero. That's a pretty good one. I think as right now it's probably in like the upper echelon, like really high up the list. I'll always refer back to the High New Gundam, even though the stat is like really low. The portrait I would say is a little bit more accessible, like a little bit more versatile. You have parts like Legends Gundam, you have Amazing Red War, but those portraits are a little bit more specific towards like its specific job pilot, so that might hinders it depending on like the type of mission you guys are taking it into. But moving down to the chest over here, we have EX skill over here. we are looking at the missile launch, the GM missile over here coming in at A Pierce and B plus power. I do personally own all these power, like I said, and I have alternated this chest over here. I wouldn't say the damage is too phenomenal. I think you guys can probably replace it with something else. Like this is something, I think for the chest, if you guys are looking for like an EX skill, you guys can always go for the Scramble Gundam. That is the 4-star standard parts. The Rampage EX skill, I would say, is a much better value than this one over here, because the Rampage also does like a attack buff, so that's gonna be a little bit more better for longevity wise. In terms of the stat, obviously it's not gonna be too good, so this one you're gonna have to subslot that to something else, and then you have good word check as well, so you can obviously make a good play out of it. I'll probably, if I can find some better option, I will definitely put that on the left hand side. Mainly the one I'm using right now is gonna be the Amazing Red Warrior. I think that one has better stat, I think a lot more better stats. And then you have the build project for Sago Chest Burger. That one is also a pretty good stat. But all three these chests I'm talking about do have EX skills, so you are definitely gonna have to subslot something just to make that portrait works. Even though you have really high defense, but that shot attack is a little bit too low. 28k over here, it's not gonna cut it at this point in time. So so let's move on to the arm over here. So the chest is not gonna, it's something you don't want to really need to focus on too much. Like I said, there's a lot more better option now, so this is something you can skip, like if you want to alternate or not. All right, moving on to the arm over here. If I can click on it. All right, in terms of the arm, the attack stat is still holding up pretty good, coming in at rank 9 over here, so that's pretty good. And the top 10 over here, like that is like a S tier, you can say, but we're not gonna put anything on like any tier list, because that's unforgiving. Those tier lists are never, like, they're subject to change like any other week. So we take a look over here. We have ace exclusive and Gundam type. Obviously this guy's got 3 main war tags. It's gonna be ace exclusive, high firepower, Gundam type. So these are all 3 like really accessible portrait. You can like find easy parts for it. I think the better option right now is to run Commander over Gundam type, in my opinion, or even high firepower. But it's just as of right now, Commander type for shot build is a little bit too limited. So because Commander gives 5% more, coming at 10% compared to like Gundam type or high firepower. But I think sacrificing that 5% to your overall parameters, stat, like the shot parameter stat, is okay, because you don't have to like work too much on like getting that specific parts. So I think that's a better option. But for the arm, we are looking at EX skill. When you have 2 enemies shot down, reduce cooldown by 50% once. So this is pretty good. If you take on that multi-mission, like you can easily use your EX skill like a lot more faster. And then when you are using a long rifle category equipped, and then your shooting power boosted by 35%. So this one is a pretty I would say a decent portrait. But I'll actually would like to see some better portrait, like just general cooldown reduction instead of just once only. I think those are just a little bit more better, a little bit more accessible, like more versatile. But like I said, there's a lot more better arms, so I'll probably on the side, just recommend a few parts that I think is a little bit better. But this one is a pretty top tier. Like, if I don't have any of the arm, this one will be my probably like a secondary choice. So let's move on to the leg over here. We have can I click on it please? We have ourselves a cutscene EX skill over here. The shot attack is not too bad, just coming at top 20. But like I said, there are a lot more better portrait. If you just want to blindly want a cutscene EX skill, I think there is a lot more better EX skill, because if you guys see over here for the effects over here, it's gonna do your regular D pierce and S power over here, but you're gonna have a little split of raising attack to your squad. So 29% is gonna go towards your melee, and then 39% is gonna go towards shots. So this one is a pretty good supporting type, because you're buffing both. So in multi-mission, your squad member is gonna be really happy. So just having that double buff. So would I personally recommend this one? It depends. If you guys don't have like, if you guys want like it exclusively, like want like a late EXQ, this can be a good choice because this one is probably gonna be on on that skin anyway, so you're not really gonna be too focused on the stat. The shot attack is way too low, even though you have really like that godly shot defense. That's not gonna make up for it even if they change gear. So if you guys have better like custom EXQ option already, I don't think this one is something you need to worry about. Good check as well, Ace exclusive and Gundam type. Alright, moving on to the backpack. Over here we have for the backpack, there are not a lot of like part trade for like backpack, because most EXQ are like coming from the backpack. So this one I would say is something to probably look into. If I would say you have pretty good tag over here, Ace exclusive and Gundam type. This one will be best suited to sub slot a Zeta Gundam backpack, because they both share Gundam type, so you can get the 10.5 parameter up. The Zeta Gundam is probably one of the better backpack that have part tray, above shooting on both first and second tray, so that will be a pretty good sub slot if you guys need like a backpack part tray. Trans Am is not gonna be looking too expensive. Most people probably have level 1, so oh wow, you're getting a 30% to shot attack to yourself. That's pretty good. Beam resistance 40% and speed by 20%. So obviously you're not gonna be really gonna be using Trans Am, because I don't think you want to waste a EXQ slot just for a awakening EXQ. So this is something to skip as well, I would say, even though it's pretty high. Like there's obviously something a little bit more higher, but this one, if you guys don't have anything else and do want just for stat purposes, I think this one would be a good for alternation. But like I said, if you guys do need to alternate, you're gonna have to summon just to get that L badge, and I don't think that the banner rate just sucks, 16%. So I wouldn't like waste my hard-earned Horos just to summon on that banner. So basically what I'm saying overall, like don't alternate this guy, because a lot of these like are being replaced already by a lot of better parts, a lot more modernized part, obviously a lot more better part tray and all that good stuff over here. Okay, we are looking at so right now I'm gonna reorganize how I rank like the weaponry, because back then I would rank them just by their own category, like the long rifle category, but I think it is best to just rank them overall by just the shot, just like those rifle weaponry. So this one's gonna come in at 13 after all this time, so it's holding up pretty good. Good word tag as well. You have Ace exclusive again and high firepower, two really stable EXQ over portrait over here, not portrait, word tag, excuse me. In terms of the portrait, melee attack down 10% and EXQ power boosted by 30%, so that's really good. For the second portrait, you are looking at a long shooter jaw enemy shooting power reduction by 30%. So this one is, I wouldn't say it's bad, but probably not something you want to main as your main unit. So this is probably run as like a supporting unit for like arena purposes only. I would have personally used it on like any of my builds per se. But I know there's a lot of people that like to build those really tanky defensive team. This one is like something you guys can look into. But if you guys are just strictly building like a defensive wall, there's a lot more free choices like those warfare event parts. I think there's a lot that have these kind of like power reduction or EXQ power reduction. So overall, there is not a lot of parts to really consider about the Zabanya Gundam. Like, don't even bother someone on that banner, because if you guys want to get to see like the C material, I suggest waiting just for tomorrow, just for a few more hours before they drop something new. So so right now we will be moving on to the Harute banner, or the ports. Alright, we are looking at the Gundam Harute parts now. The stats are as follow. You guys can see I put NA for majority of them, because none of those parts really make it into the top 20. When I say top 20, there's gonna be like a lot of like better choices already. So this one is probably not gonna be something you want to focus on. But if you guys do have parts and like are like kind of tempted to summon on it just to alternate it, please don't do it. Don't do it. So for Horus Gundam, the way they built this guy in this game, it really looks like he want to do two things. He want to do like he want to bust out good melee power and good shooting power, but this game doesn't work like that. Currently, I think most of it is either you do like a really good melee build or a really good shot build. So let's take like the stat, or obviously not gonna be too good. It's not too bad. I would say it's just a little bit on the average side, not like above average or like even up upon like that really S tier, I would say. You have tags like Transformer that buffs pretty good buff to melee build actually, but I don't think Transformer is just not a tag that is too prominent as of now. If they later on decided to release more parts that buff like Transformer that is dedicated to like a melee build, because I think most Transformer tag are like really leaning towards that shot build. But even though that portrait didn't support it, but like the elements that it has, like the stats and like some portrait, yeah, you have Gundam type over there. So that's this is like a bridge. It's either you can do like a melee build or shot build over here. Portrait over here is not too bad, not too terrible. You have what is it, melee damage raise 10%, and then EXQ power boosted by 30%. So that's workable. And then you are looking at when one enemy is down, reduced cooldown by 50%. So this one, if you guys are someone that is like looking for what is it, these immediate cooldown like after shooting one enemy, I will suggest you getting the Destiny Gundam Hidden Western Flukes version. I think that one is a little bit more better. That one is like shot oriented instead of this guy over here being like kind of in a limbo state, I would say. Doesn't really know where to go, because this is like he does everything, kind of like an all-rounder. But this game doesn't really do all-rounder like that, so yeah, this one is gonna be a no good. Don't need it. Alright, moving on to the chest over here. The stats are pretty evenly distributed. It's just a melee power. Melee stat is slightly a little bit higher, but it doesn't really matter because it's not gonna make it into the top 20. Same word tag as the head, Transformer and Gundam type. And then you have when Transformer is active, shooting power boosted by 30%. Okay, that's something you can pretty much work with, you can say. And then when you are tech attribute, enemy EXQ power reduced by 30%. Another one of those like second or third unit supporting type kind of role. So like I said, there's a lot more like free to play parts. Like I'm talking about like the standard parts or even like the warfare parts that have the second portrait supporting element. So I think those will be a little bit more of a cheaper expense, because just alternate it, it's gonna cost you 5 alternation tool, which is they're a little bit hard to come by. So I don't think the chest is something you guys need to worry about, in my opinion. Like I have all these parts over here that have not even alternate. So that's how much like how much like I don't really enjoy these parts. I like the unit, I like Harute, but this time in this game how they kind of built him in a way. As for the arm, the shot attack is pretty good. Still holding on to like the top 20, coming in at 12 over here. Same war tag as again Transformer and Gundam type. Just not too versatile. Yeah, just not good. I don't think there's even any one-to-one scale that have Transformer. Obviously you have Gundam type, but I don't think there's any for Transformer tag. So the portrait is good. The first portrait is really good. Restricting the T attribute, melee power boosted by 30%. So this unit is doing like a limbo kind of thing. You're one portrait supporting like shot power boost, and then another one you're doing melee power boost. So like, what does this guy want? And then you have one tag attribute, melee crit rate up by boosted by 40%. Like I said many times, crits are just not good in this game until they make crit rate like a little bit more viable, like to do more damage. Until then, these portraits are just gonna be useless until then. So the arm is something you can skip as well. And then as for the leg, we have a Transam EXQ over here. For the stat of the leg, it's not looking too good as well. And then the EXQ over here to Transam race speed up by 20%. then melee power by 39%, so it's gonna be 30 at level 1, and then being resistant by 49%. So like I said, I don't think you want to waste a EX skill slot just for Transcend over here, just for the cosmetic or like the cinematic of it. So I think you can queue that up with like if you guys do want to see like Transcend, I would say pick EX skill that have like integrated Transcend like when activating. So those are like the Wiccan EX skill. So this one is hospital as well over here. Which are you are looking at Transformer and high firepower. So like I said, another just a bad portrait overall, like the way they kind of build this guy. Alright, moving on to the backpack casting EX skill over here. You are pretty good. You are doing melee up to your squad by 40%, but this one is it's not gonna do a lot of melee power because this, if you read it, is G and Scissor Blade, so that is like a melee attack, and then you get that G and Cannon, which is a shot attack over here. So if you guys are gonna put this on your melee suit, right? Presumably your melee stat is probably gonna be like twice as high as, let's say, just to give it like a simple number, so let's say your melee attack is gonna be 2. We're gonna do some really simple numbers, and then your shot attack is gonna be 1. So how this EX skill kind of works is like how much power it does is derived directly from how many like your stats. So obviously being this one is being like a melee orange, if you guys have really high melee attack, it's gonna do a lot of melee power with the G and Scissor Bits. But and then the second part comes in your G and Cannon, because obviously your melee build is not gonna have like really good shooting power. So this is why overall, in terms of overall damage, this one is not gonna do as much damage compared to like a pure EX skill that is a melee base. So this one I would say is a hot skip as well, just because that the output will not be something that's too spectacular in a way, but cool animation overall, but not gonna be too good competitively, I would say. So skip the backpack as well. Alright, moving on to the weapons over here. The GN rifle, the GN sword rifle over here is something I would say this one is probably something really good. If you guys have managed to build like a Transformer trait unit, this one is probably you want to add to your collection, because this one gives like initial charge boost, initial cooldown by 20%, so that's gonna allow you to use your EX skill like initially a lot more faster, and then when buff, your EX skill boosted by 35%. So this is a pretty good portrait over here. So if this is something like you need for like your Transformer tech build, I will highly suggest this one. But that is if you guys have the part already and want to invest into it. Otherwise, I don't think you want to hunt down for just one individual part. Good trait as well. Vortex, get Transformer and high fire power over here. Alright, the last thing we're gonna go over is gonna be the GN rifle, the GN sword rifle and rifle bolt over here. So that's that. It's not gonna be anything too competitive over here. But in terms of the portrait, we have one of those like 50% cooldown ones only. These are okay, not gonna be too great obviously, but the second portrait is kind of good. Shooting power boosted by 35%. So, but like I said, there are up to this day there's a lot more better options, so this one is probably gonna be a skip as well. So overall, in conclusion, I would say skip the Horus and Zabanya Gundam banner, because both these units doesn't really serve too much like of a purpose in the overall scheme of matter and in the meta, I would say. So I'll probably list out a few good parts like along the way, so you guys have a better idea of like, oh, or what is like a meta part. But this is by no means telling you guys, oh, you guys should like chase them for all these like top tier parts, because like I said, in this game there's a lot of like different builds into it. So maybe like there's no like definitive best of the best parts. So it's just more of like having fun with like building parts that kind of works together. Like so don't really too much worry about like the overall parameter number. I would say really focus on just the portrait, because like the portrait, like I said, is kind of like the meat to the overall build. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little brief just breakdown of these two units, and then I'll catch you guys on the next one. Probably the next one I'll discuss the pay banner. I'm gonna talk about if you guys did something and you guys want to see or which part to really pick from. I'll probably go over that on the next video. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one.